I had worked at Clearwater Animal Reserve for 11 years. I thought I had seen everything: escaped wolves, injured eagles, bears in parking lots. Nothing surprised me anymore. Then my radio crackled. Code red, the lion is out. My coffee hit the floor. I ran. Past the reptile house, past the gift shop, past a group of school children being pulled behind a building by their teacher. A man near the entrance dropped his phone and froze. Two women screamed. A father grabbed his daughter and sprinted toward the parking lot, and through all of it, he walked. Kari, a full-grown African lion, 400 pounds, golden coat, dark mane. His amber eyes swept across the crowd, steady and focused. No panic, no aggression. He moved like he had somewhere to be. He wasn't running. He wasn't hunting. He was searching. I grabbed my radio. Do not engage. Nobody fires unless I give the order. Kari walked through the open gate, onto the main road, and turned left. Toward town, toward St. Francis Memorial Hospital. My blood went cold. He knew exactly where he was going. 9 years ago, Kari arrived at Clearwater in a rusted shipping crate, rescued from an illegal exotic animal operation. 7 months old, ribs showing through his skin, eyes crusted shut, chemical burns on his legs. The vet team gave him a 30% chance. That's when Margaret Owens walked in. Margaret was 56, quiet, silver hair pulled back with a rubber band, same faded green jacket every day. She had been a wildlife rehabilitation specialist for 20 years. Animals trusted her in a way that made the rest of us feel clumsy. She knelt beside his crate and whispered something none of us heard. Kari opened one eye. That was the beginning. She slept on the concrete floor beside him for 3 weeks, fed him by hand every 2 hours. When he had seizures, she held his head in her lap and covered his ears. She said fear was the real disease. The first time he stood on his own, everyone watched. His legs shook. He fell twice. On the third try, he walked to Margaret and pressed his forehead against her knee. No one spoke. As he grew, the bond deepened. He paced when she left, settled when she returned. She hummed folk songs while working. He would lie near the fence, eyes half closed, listening. Then 4 years ago, Margaret was diagnosed with cancer, stage 3. She tried to keep working. Her body wouldn't let her. The day she left, Kari stood at the fence and watched her car disappear down the road. Then he let out a sound I had never heard. Low, deep. It vibrated in the ground. He didn't eat for 3 days. We heard she had been moved to St. Francis. Terminal. Days left. Now Kari was walking down Ridgecrest Boulevard toward that hospital. I followed in the truck, radioing police. A helicopter appeared. Officers set up perimeters. Kari did not slow down. He crossed intersections. A bus slammed its brakes. A woman fell behind a mailbox. He turned onto Elm Street. The hospital appeared ahead. White walls, glass entrance. He walked through the automatic doors. The lobby erupted. A receptionist dove behind her desk. Nurses ran. Someone pulled a fire alarm. The shrieking echoed down every hallway. Kari shook his mane once, kept walking. Down the east corridor, past the chapel, past the vending machines. He stopped at room 314, pushed the door open with his nose. Margaret lay in the bed, thin, pale. Oxygen tube under her nose, eyes closed. The room smelled of antiseptic and something fading. Kari crossed the room and pressed his nose against her hand. Her fingers twitched. Her eyes opened. She smiled. "Kari," she breathed. He let out a low, trembling hum, pressed his forehead against her arm, closed his eyes. "My boy," she whispered. "You found me." I stood in the doorway. My eyes burned. Behind me, 2 nurses stood frozen, hands over their mouths. She placed her shaking hand into his mane. "I'm sorry I left," she whispered. Armed security burst through the stairwell, rifles aimed. I stepped into the hallway. "You are not going in there," I said. Dr. Anita Sharma stepped forward. "The patient is Margaret Owens, Stage 4. She has hours, maybe less. She paused. 3 days ago, she told me she wished she could see her lion one more time. The captain lowered his weapon. Stand down. Margaret spoke to Kari in fragments. She told him he was beautiful, brave, that she dreamed of him every night. You were the best thing I ever did, she whispered. Her breathing slowed. The pauses grew longer. The monitor slowed. Stay, she whispered. Kari stayed. The monitor let out a single long tone. Kari lifted his head, nudged her hand once, twice, 3 times. She did not move. He let out a sound that broke every person in that corridor. Not a roar, not a growl, something between sorrow and farewell. He rested his head beside her hand for 11 minutes. Then he stood and walked out without looking back. Back at the reserve, he went to the highest rock, lay down facing south toward the hospital. He didn't eat for 3 days. A week later, a lawyer called. Margaret's will left everything to Clearwater for rescued big cats. A handwritten note was attached. Give Kari the sun, let him feel the wind, and when he sits alone at dusk, know that I am sitting with him. We built him an open enclosure, warm rocks, a single acacia tree. Beneath it, a stone bench with a bronze plaque. For Margaret, who taught a lion that not all hands bring pain. Kari sleeps beneath that tree most afternoons. Some days, when the wind comes from the south, he lifts his head and closes his eyes and breathes in deep. People say animals don't understand love, but I was in that room. I heard the sound he made when her heart stopped. Love doesn't need language. Sometimes it just needs one heartbeat to recognize another. And sometimes, even after that heartbeat stops, the recognition remains.